Hi, my name's Anna, and the dinosaur that I researched is Jobaria tiguidensis. So Jobaria tiguidensis is commonly referred to just as Jobaria. The name originated partially from the nomads of the Niger region, as well as the legend they created about the fossils being exposed in plain view on the side of a cliff face. The discovery was made by a paleontologist named Dr. Paul C. Sereno. He's also a professor at the University of Chicago, and he found that Jobaria lived during the early Cretaceous period between 130 and 140 million years ago. The site yielded an isolated find of 3 adult skeletons and 1 juvenile, and he hypothesized that the group had been wiped out by a flash flood due to their close proximity and the fossilization likely having undergone rapid burial. Of these several skeletons, Sereno was able to reconstruct an over 95% complete skeleton, making Jobaria the most complete long-necked dinosaur of the Cretaceous period. And a fun fact is that Sereno had compared Jobaria to modern elephants during reconstruction and found that although Jobaria was wide, its legs took narrow strides and surprisingly walked quite gracefully. So over here, there's a photo of the excavation site. You can see it's a partially articulated find, and this over here is likely a femur bone. You can just see how large the fossils were compared to the people there. This is also an artistic rendition of Jobaria tiguidensis. So yeah. As a sauropod, Jobaria was a very large obligate quadruped with columnar legs and a small head relative to the size of its body. It's further classified as a eusauropod, so it was even larger, and with a rounded snout and 12 or more cervical vertebrae. After that, there's been taxonomical confusion. The author of the Dinosauria claimed that Jobaria was a basal or primitive Macronarian, whereas Sereno claimed that Jobaria belongs to no recognized family and is just outside the Neosauropod clade. Either way, what characterizes Jobaria is its relatively shorter neck of 12 vertebrae, its simple backbone and tail, and the deep grooves between its cervical vertebrae. During the early Cretaceous period, the Earth was significantly hotter than it is today, and it got a little bit cooler near the poles, but not much. The paleoclimate of Niger, however, is not known for the early Cretaceous. However, the paleo environment suggests that it was not a Sahara as it is today. Instead, Niger was an area characterized by wide rivers and extensive forests, hence why Jobaria flourished there. So over here you can see a world map of the early Cretaceous. That little red dot there is Niger. This is a zoomed in photo. And that little white box is where about the excavation site was. Jobaria was a primary consumer or herbivore, and they had relatively small mouths with spoon-shaped teeth, which were meant for puncturing high-growing vegetation on trees, but not so good for chewing. They grew to be about 20 tons and 70 feet tall, meaning because of their small mouths, they had to be eating pretty much all day, every day to get that size. Jobaria was somewhere in the middle of the food web because of their massive size. Predators were deterred from actually preying on them. However, Sereno found a bite mark on the ribs of the juvenile Jobaria, and a predator skeleton was also found in the same fossil formation, the Tiurarin formation, and that was the Afrovenator. They lived in the same region, but they were likely only capable of preying on the youth Jobarias just because of the size. Given that it was a mass grave discovered, Sereno inferred that Jobaria was a social species that traveled in herds. This likely made predation harder just because it was herds of mixed age. And also the mixed age group is also evidence of case selection reproduction strategy in which fewer eggs are laid and the juveniles are cared for more closely by the mother. Finally, some fun facts about Jobaria tiguidensis is that they likely contributed a large amount to Earth's heating at the time through the methane emissions produced by the digestion and fermentation of vegetation in their stomachs. So they were very gassy. And 1 adult and 1 juvenile skeleton, nearly complete, over 95% complete, as I said, are on display in a Chicago museum. Thanks for watching.